The basement.
The basement. The basement.
Welcome to episode 2, our discussion about vampires. Vampires are shit. Bye.
Welcome and happy Halloween. I'm Stan.
I'm Guy.
And I'm Mark.
And we're with The Basement. And this is our monster Halloween-y special roundtable. And that being said, some of you have probably already seen the first part of it, which is about zombies. Now we're moving forward
to vampires.
So, Mark, with no further ado, take it away.
So, this is in pulp culture. What do you think is the best... Wait. What do you like or dislike about them? Let's go with that first.
Ooh, I dislike your, Transylvania vampire, I guess. Like the whole cape and fucking...
The old-timey, where everything was built from.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I don't like that. That's too folklore.
Too stereotypical.
Yeah.
I can see where you're coming from. In modern culture, it doesn't necessarily fit. However, that's one of the things that I actually like about vampires is the fact that it's based on not fact, but myth, more or less. It's folk tales of the past. Vampires are not necessarily my favorite of the monsters, but I do like the fact that there's more groundwork for them. And also, really, the whole theory of the vampire kind of fits as far as it could. Zombieism, reasonable. Could be disease that causes it. Vampirism, similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are people out there who would enjoy the taste of blood, and they go out their way to try to get it.
Well, and there's people, so. Ultimately there's you could have a disease, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My dislikes of vampires in pop culture are the people that think they're vampires. I'm probably gonna get some hate, but whatever, do whatever you want, but don't get in my face about it.
This is my way of life.
It's like, you know what? Welcome to the real world of the 20th, well, it's 21st century now, but people are going to hate on anything you do. It's not like, I'm not a normal guy by any stretch of the imagination, but, I get hate for just dressing the way I do. How do you do? You wear these ripped jeans in public. It's disrespectful. Who the fuck cares? I don't need it. That's what I don't like, the fact that it gets stuffed in your face sometimes.
Yeah.
I identify as a vampire. If I had 2 eyes for every gender.
I really like that they've lived, their portrayals have always lived hundreds of years. They've experienced so much loss, and they still mingle amongst the humans, and they feed off of them. Some of them are like True Blood portrayal, where they try to live amongst the humans, but they're animalistic. There you go. They're animalistic, and they regress to that point of trying to eat you occasionally because you smell delicious. And if you know by Edward Cullen's long stares, he smells you.
And he twinkles.
That is... we'll get to that.
Okay, we'll get to that. But dislike the cheesy vampires. It works for zombies. It doesn't really work for vampires. Unless, of course, there was one show which I recommend, Out of the Shadows, where it was funny, but...
Was that Johnny Depp?
Let me think. No, that was... Oh, no. Out of the Shadows was that? I'm sorry. What We Do in the Shadows. That was the one I'm thinking of.
Ultimately, I just because of the nature of a vampire, I think that I agree that when they're cheesy, it's kind of lame. Don't get me wrong, there's cheesy vampire films out there I like. Blackula. Blackula blows is cool.
Well, yeah, I should say
they're out there.
They're
But
humorous takes, but they're not really
ultimately,
cheesy. Well, they are.
as a monster, as a villain, the vampire is long-lived and usually is more cunning, is more cerebral. There's more strategy involved in what they're doing, more grand strategy, and that's kind of what I like.
Yeah, some portrayals have them as the base creatures like 30 Days of Night, where they're just wild feral and they go around trying to eat you.
That was a good movie.
It was. But there are some where they're like you say, planning. They find ways to manipulate you into doing what you want because they're just having fun with you because you're really their food.
What's the one with Ethan Hawke? Daybreak?
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. That was a good one. That was a good planning movie.
Yeah, that was. I appreciated that. Trying to get out. Okay. Next topic is, do you think they've lost respect over the years? Like, do you feel that they're still as in vogue?
I think that the whole Twilight craze is worn off, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, it's kind of what
I think we've finally escaped that.
There have been a lot of young adult movies based on them, but not many actual adult movies.
Okay, young adult movies.
I'm gonna say there's no sucking of blood.
Yeah, no, I can agree that, or I can say that I think that they've kind of dropped out of the public eye again.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll never go away. There'll always be B-movie actors or B-movie directors that are like, let's make a vampire film.
What vampire movies have come after Twilight?
There were a lot of good movies before it, but I'm trying to think. I can't place any.
Other than the TV shows, like whatever the fuck is on CW. I can't even think the name of those. Vampire Diaries, that thing.
What We Do in the Shadows, that's the only thing I can think of. And I only came across that because my brother mentioned it.
See,
other than that, I wouldn't have ever known.
Ultimately, I think Twilight was just like, this is the genre, right? Mm-hmm. Twilight's just like, hold on a second here.
Like,
there you go, enjoy that.
I don't like the vampire TV things, like all that drama, like teenage drama crap. But
The same can be said though. There's a lot of things I don't like that have been turned into teenage dramas that I liked before.
I do, however, like vampire portrayals on Supernatural because they're actual
those are the myth and the folklore again.
Yeah, and it's like they operate in a nest, is what they call it. So you're nest of vampires.
Ever see John Carpenter's Vampires?
God, you ruined it. That's my favorite vampire film.
We'll get to that.
It is.
But yeah, just the portrayal on that is like the nesting, and you try to fight them off and try to counter them before they can get back at you.
The only way to kill them on Supernatural, though, is cut their head off.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
I gotta say, well, never mind. We'll get to that. Another one is like in True Blood, where they work well. Like it went way off the deep end towards the end, but it was very enjoyable at first because they're kind of just they don't care about things. So
I hope that gets picked up.
I thought it was you tapping on the chair. I was like, okay, guy, I know you're trying to get us to wrap this up so you can go home. I get that.
But their portrayal on that of they don't care. They're just toying with you, and they're having sex all the time because it's fun. Why not?
Well, you live for thousands of years. What are you gonna do? You're gonna drink blood and fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Have sex. I'm sorry, young kids watching.
As you've already sworn.
Having sex is what two consenting adults do when they love each other very much.
Outside of a bar for many hours.
Probably in the backseat of your future car.
Okay, we're digressing. So, okay, next is what is their best portrayal? Do you feel?
I really liked, well, scared the shit out of me when I first watched it, was Bram Stoker's Dracula. And you watch it now and just kind of like, yeah. It's not that good of acting. But when you watch it when you're younger, and it's a good movie, it's scary, and it's vampire. I gotta stick with the classic for that.
Yeah.
Plus Gary Oldman.
I ultimately will go with John Carpenter's Vampires only because I can't pick out an old film. I think that in the golden age of cinema, you had a whole lot of incredibly good vampire films that may not be scary by today's standards, but I think they were very well done. But being more of a modern movie buff, I'm going to go with John Carpenter's Vampires.
Yeah, it was a very good movie, I thought. Never saw Bram Stoker's Dracula, so I can't say no to that. My favorite... I mean, I really liked quite a few of them, like Interview with the Vampire was... It set the mood, but it didn't really hold up to my, like, super high standards.
You know, the one thing that I can't get over with Interview with Vampires is just, like, the fucking frills.
There were a lot of those.
Really?
Yeah. But my best portrayal, I thought, was 30 Days of Night. I mean, it goes against all the others because they're wild, feral vampires that just try to attack you. It's kind of like a bridge between zombies and vampires, but...
And Danny Houston.
Yes. But it was just well done. It was kind of a noir setting. It was just dark, and it wasn't overdone, but it fit. It fit very well, and I liked it. And what's her worst portrayal?
Twilight, by far.
Twilight. Let me just say, though, I really appreciated some of the scenes where they had the battles, like with the wolves coming at... Well, that's werewolves, or spirit wolves. Get right.
The fact that you knew that is disturbing.
I read the books and I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. They're not really werewolves. They something to do with they are commune with the spirits.
They're Native American wolves.
Yeah, and they but anyhow, they're almost stone figures, and they rip each other's heads off, and when they punch each other, it's just like shattering glass, or like, well, shattering stone, but just like their faces crack like that, and it's nice, it's fun.
I didn't even finish the movies.
But there was just so much in the movies of just teen drama. Just
sparkled.
Yeah. Like in the books, they explain that, he gets her scent and he can barely contain himself from attacking her and eating her face, but in the movie it's just long stare.
Lip quiver.
I'll tell you a close second, not even a close second, it isn't even close, but one that just pops into my head that's really bad is like Blade 3.
That was
Blade was so good. The original Blade, it's not as good anymore. The CG didn't hold up and whatever, but I love Blade. The first movie is really good, and the second movie I could tolerate. It was awful, but it was acceptably awful. The third movie was just atrocious. It was just a train wreck.
It was very bad. I remember that now.
I was actually going to say my favorite portrayal is Triple H as a vampire.
Oh, God. No.
Or Coolio. Vampire 20. I don't even remember what it was. I never watched it, but I saw it. And
I mean, there's been a lot of bad vampire stuff, but, like, typically it's bad in a way that you can at least tolerate it. Mm-hmm. Like, I wasn't a huge Buffy fan. I liked Angel, but I didn't like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I liked Angel because it was cheesy. Actually, I liked Angel because the first ever episode I saw was the puppet, like the Muppet episode. And I was like, This show is awesome. Yeah, fucking Muppets, because Muppets are the creepiest thing. That's the scariest monster, and probably not on your list. Scariest monster, Muppets. Muppets are frightening.
Yeah.
But no, that's I think that if you asked 100 people over the age of 25 what the worst portrayal of vampires is, they're gonna say Twilight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it was just such a specific audience, and it was really overhyped, and there's just so many things about it that made people either for or against it.
I gave my description of what I thought they did when they made that film, so...
Yeah. Okay, so next, you want to...
Any closing comments?
Vampires are okay.
I don't like them. I don't necessarily hate them. I think there were some very interesting things done. Dracula 2000, I think, was on the right track of how to kind of modernize it. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, I think, to me, the big struggle... Boobs, yeah. Ultimately, the big struggle, to me, to modernize the vampire as frightening more so than just like I think they did a good job in like Blade, where it's kind of an underground society type thing. I think that's cool, but you're not gonna. I think it's very difficult to bring back the Dracula-esque vampire of I live in a castle, whatever, you know. And I think that to me is what makes vampires cool. So that's what is a struggle.
I just want to digress. I'm playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Yeah. It was a game based on the tabletop game. Yeah, but it was a computer game. Anyhow, they had different choices of vampires you could have. And they had like the Nosferatu vampire, which was just you couldn't really go out and be seen in public, but you got to. There was one of them though called Malkavian, which it had a mental disease where it would just talk in random ways, and it would not make sense until you like puzzled it out. And I love that aspect of just you'd go up to somebody and be like, oh, I can't remember. It's like hi toilet. What is you today? And it's like, oh hi John. Or what are you today? Or like, yeah. It was so well done. It was something where you had to piece out.
Toilet, John. I get it.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And like,
it was really shitty.
He'd go off and he'd be like he met a Japanese girl in the game, and he's like, "Have you found tentacles today? They might find you." Just like, yeah, the Japanese porn. Anyhow, so that works
in a lighter closing comment. For me, an interesting vampire concept. There's a series of books I read, the Joe Ledger novels, and it's basically die-hard super cop novels, but they're really well done. And in the books, they deal with the Red Knights, and I think that's an interesting kind of twist on vampires. So if you get time and you're looking for something to read, I recommend reading those books and learn about it. I don't want to disclose too much because these guys are sitting at the table.
It could have future ramifications in our D20 campaign.
Yeah.
Ramifications.
So, thanks for watching, guys. If you want to see more, our next episode will be about
werewolves.
Werewolves.
Woofies.
And the previous episode's about zombies. So, like, comment, and subscribe, and watch a few more of us talking gibberish about monsters.
Blah.
Happy Halloween.